Welcome to Jason's Bricks in 5. This is where I discuss Lego builds, reviews, any general Lego topics in 5 minutes or less. You might be joining me from my regular channel, Jason's Life in 5, where I do all kinds of different adventures that I do. This channel is going to be targeted specifically towards my Lego specific content. Now, you may have seen in my last video on my main channel that I started the process of building a platform for Lego City, and this is where we're going to discuss the first steps of that journey. So here you get kind of an overview of my Lego City layout. Thought I'd go over a few of the things that I've done over the last week and a half and some of the decisions I had to make. And then we'll talk about some of the things I've learned as I started to lay out my Lego City. So I had about half of the modular buildings already put together on a shelf in another room, but because I now have the addition of extra space, I was able to complete some of the building of some of the sets that I had already had, just hadn't put together because I just didn't have room. Assembly Square, had that one for about a year and a half or 2 years that it sat on the shelf and waiting to build, just didn't have space. The police station, we also had to build the boutique hotel. And then the most recent update was the Doctor Strange Sanctum Sanctorum, and that one just came out a little less than a month ago. So a couple of things I had to take into account when I first started to decide how I wanted to build my city, I think important at the beginning, is kind of figuring out the foundation. I had to figure out the road situation. I have some old plates from when I was a kid, some from my son as well when he was younger, and I did have a small stack of those, and those certainly could have sufficed for a little while. However, Lego doesn't make those anymore. And so if I needed more, I saw that being something that could be a potential issue. So I did look at the new Lego road plate options that they have. They are good because they're in the Lego system, whereas these are a lot thinner. So there are some building issues around that. These do look a lot nicer, I think. You know, they a little more functional. They can fit the wider cars than what they used to have. Plus, you don't have this extra bit of sidewalk, and I didn't need this extra space because most of the buildings already have a sidewalk built in. So ultimately, I bought a pack or two of these, tried them out. I think I've decided I am going to go with these, and that was the first thing I had to decide. The next thing I had to decide was how I'm going to do my buildings. I know a lot of people do what are called Mills plates. It's essentially, instead of just letting the building be on the thin, normal base plate, they actually build that up. You can see here what I've done is that I have put bricks and a base of plates there. And so that works quite well because it provides some stability should you need to move these. And especially as I've been laying this out, I've actually been real thankful for that. The downside is it does cost more because you got to have plates for that, plus the brick underneath. But I do think in the long run I'll be happier with that because it does provide some additional stability and some functionality in working with that. And then the next thing was just trying to figure out the layout. I didn't realize how difficult that was going to be to come up with something that was going to work. But this is what I've gone with, at least for now. The nice thing about Lego is it can certainly be rearranged, but we'll see what we decide we're going to do with that. One of the things that I did decide early on that I wanted to do is have kind of a little open area where it would lead to like a plaza, a town square, something like that, and that's kind of what I've tried to do here. I just quickly mocked up a tree to put that in there. Certainly we'll try to finish that, make it a better build, but just gives me some idea of how that's going to look. And so I do like how it's open. You don't have the buildings on top of each other. And so for now, I think this might be how I'm going to start.
So one of the issues that I've had is in regards to my train. I have the Disneyland train. I do like it. And the building does fit in the modular layout. However, with the size of the city I have, I just don't have room for a full loop. So right now I've just run this one track so I can display it here. As the city expands, I may have to remove it. Over on the other side of the city, you can see I've got the fishing shop with a little bit of waterfront I've built. And then I've got the Spring Lantern Festival and the tree house, thinking this might be a recreational, maybe park type area. We'll see what develops.
So that's the update for this week. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Jason's Bricks in 5. Hope you enjoyed it, and feel free to like and subscribe.